What is up, YouTube, and welcome again to another episode of Behind the Wall presented by Perky Jerky. I'm Pro Bowl 43, as always, along with the sidekicks, Thermite 917 and Kane Jr. 88. It's been quite a while. We've had a whole month off, and that's particularly because the racing has not been terrific this month. But we are now here to recap it all, and starting off with a slightly different format. We're no longer going to do race recaps, but we're just going to get right into looking at the race ratings for the month. So we got to start off at the first race, which is Pocono. Nick, tell us about this event.
Yeah, it sucked. You kind of expect that with Pocono, but this was kind of one of the tracks this package was made for, but it just didn't work out. Even restarts were lackluster. The strategy was straightforward, and Kyle Busch won, so that's really all you got to say about it. A race to forget. Kane, what happened at Michigan?
Pretty much the same exact thing. Again, this package was meant for Michigan, but it just did not deliver. And again, a very unpopular winner in Joey Logano. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Tyler, what happened at Sonoma?
Oh boy, man, 3 straight atrocious weekends, and that's after coming off of an off weekend after Michigan. The Toyota Save Mart 350 didn't save anything. The stages completely killed strategy in this race. It felt like as if nothing happened. It was a chore to watch, and we were just begging for the race to end by the time it finally did actually come around, and Martin Truex Jr. absolutely waxed the field with him and Kyle Busch beating everybody else by 30 seconds or more. It was a 2.5 out of 10 at best. And then the final cup race for the month, Chicagoland. Nick, you guys were there.
Oh, yes, we were, and we had a blast. We'll talk about that in a minute, but it gets the highest rating for the month at an 8. Thank God, we needed that. NBC kicked off their stretch, and just like last year, we had another good finish. Alex Bowman, a first-time winner. That was a really feel-good story. 2 potentially dominant cars of Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch both had problems, which opened the door for some great battles. The rain delay kind of helped. It cooled down the track, and that's the kind of race this package likes. So it was great to have a solid race to end the month.
Absolutely. So, after all the ugliness that we saw, it was finally good to end off on a positive note, because it was really beginning to drag after a while. We will take it. June is in the books, and let's move on. Well, we had a hell of a weekend after races. Both of the boys here went to the Chicagoland triple header. I was even at South Boston this weekend, and Kane even went to a dirt track race at Route 66 Speedway. Man, we had one of the best weekends ever as far as going to races, 6 across the board. So, boys, let's talk about some key points. Don't sugarcoat it, and don't be politically correct. Nick, why don't we start with you, because you went to the first race of the weekend, the Truck Series at Chicago. I know you had a hell of a time there.
Yeah, it was awesome. Got an infield pass. Tried to schedule it so I was at the driver's meeting when they were lining up on the red carpet. I got a nice little sign for them to autograph, and I actually did really well. Got at least 8 signatures. Todd Gilliland, Harrison Burton, Grant Enfinger, Stuart Friesen. I needed that one. Got my Brett Moffitt truck sign. It's kind of hard to see, but mission accomplished there. Had a good stroll through Champions Park as usual, but then the race got underway. It was a good race, and once again, Moffitt won that one. So hopefully, maybe I can get his diecast for that race and get it signed next year. So I'll just keep it brief for that one because we have more to talk about for Cup. But next up in line would be Kane for going to the Xfinity race and his dirt race. So take it away there.
Thank you, Nick. Tyler introduced me to these kind of NASCAR flea markets that pop up near the track when we were in Martinsville, and there's one near Chicago I discovered, so I stopped there, got me a couple of 164s for $5 each. Got to the track, I just walked around the midway for a bit, got a bunch of free shit. Went to the Air Force simulation lab, basically, where it basically tests your skills and whatnot, and basically if you're cut out to be in the Air Force, which I'm clearly not, so that was actually a lot of fun. It was a really good day. It was hot, sweated my ass off. Average Xfinity race. It wasn't really that exciting. I was a little bit nervous about it first because old squinty douche Joey Logano was driving the 12 car for Penske. But thankfully, Cole Custer and most of the Xfinity regulars showed up.
Ha! Sucks to suck! Bitch!
Cole Custer got his 4th win of the season, and then in victory lane, man, he's going all Stone Cold Steve Austin, smashing 2 beers together and just chugging them right there, dumping them on his face. That was fun. Later on that night, I drove across the street to the dirt oval at Route 66. It is right next to the drag strip where NHRA goes every year. Boy, let me tell you, this was a long-ass night. So I get to the track at about a little bit before 7 o'clock, and I didn't get out of there until 1:30 in the morning.
Oh, shit.
And I didn't get home till 3 in the morning because I still hadn't eaten dinner yet. Thankfully, there was a Burger King, so I just went there, got a fucking Whopper, and
Have it your way.
went home. Yeah, exactly. Went home, had it my way, ate it, went to bed, and only got like 2 hours of sleep before I had to wake up again to go and pick up Nick for the cup race. But that's the bad news. The good news was the racing was excellent. There was Tony Stewart's All-Star Circuit of Champions Sprint Car Series, which are the 410 winged sprints, as well as the USAC Midget Series. The cool thing about this one, Kyle Larson, who just got off of qualifying for the Cup Series, he was running his sprint car and he was running in the midget race. He nearly swept both races. The sprint car feature was first. Larson had the lead. But then, during a red flag period, the track announcer came over the PA and said, "We've got an update," because he had a crew member working outside the legal area, which is this barricaded area outside the track. So because of that, Larson got fucking disqualified. The majority of the crowd, they were pulling for Larson, and when that announcement came over the PA, they were pissed. Watching Larson's car get pushed back to the garage area was such a heartbreaking sight. But then it all got better because then the midget feature was pretty much the main event of the night. A lot of big names were running in this race besides Larson. You had J.J. Yaley, Chad Boat, Carson Elledge. That was a really solid race. Lots of flips, obviously. And Larson pretty much led the entire race from start to finish. He absolutely redeemed himself. So, yeah, that was basically my Saturday night.
Why don't you tell me who won the 410 race?
I think it was Aaron Reutzel, I think was the guy's name.
Oh, Aaron Rhodes. Yeah, fucking Rudy.
But Tyler, I believe you were also out at a famous track on Saturday night as well. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely, Kane. At the exact same time you were there, I'm over at South Boston. I've been wanting to go there all year long, and a good show finally popped up. They were going to have a 200-lapper for the NASCAR Wheelin' All-American Late Model Series. Old Josh Berry, I was certainly rooting for him. He was in the field, and a handful of other guys you may or may not know. Peyton Sellers, a Busch Series reject. He was in there. Timothy Peters raced. Ty Gibbs hit about everything but the pace car and the kitchen sink. But it was quite a race, along with their little normal Saturday night crap, freaking 4 cylinders, limited late models, all your knickknacks and your paddywhacks. It was absolutely worth the 2-hour drive. Just a great Saturday night short track event. I mean, Jesus, 200 laps. The first 100 laps were a little more mild, but there was still plenty of action going on. I didn't actually know a whole lot about the rules. They had a halftime break. It was like 15 minutes or so. And they inverted the top 10. So Josh Berry, he wins a $1,000 bonus for being the leader at halfway, and then he goes back to 10th place. So it was like, oh shit, now he's got to drive his way back through there. They ended up having 3 red flags, including 2 huge front stretch pileups within the first 20 laps of the restart, and it was just an absolute crazy race. Peyton Sellers won it by making an outside pass on the last restart, and it was just one of those races where it was full of attrition, lots of great racing, bumping and banging, a little bit of tempers, everything you can ask for. It was a short track race, and that is absolutely why I love supporting the local short tracks. I've pretty much completed my big trifecta: Bowman Gray, Hickory, and South Boston. Those are the 3 that I've really wanted to visit since I kind of started this whole little trend in the middle of last year. And I've done it, so it gets a big thumbs up from me. Another one of those tracks that should have never, ever left the NASCAR calendar, because Busch Series used to race there back in the day, as well as the trucks, and it's a terrific place. Out of all 3 of them, it's actually the nicest kept up facility. It was actually very clean. Like, Hickory's a shithole, Bowman Gray is its own damn thing, and this one was very good. It was just a great night, and I certainly can't wait to go back there. So, now to wrap up the freaking behind the wall weekend spectacular, you guys went to the cup race, you were both there, your freaking great adventure, part 3.
Yeah, I mean, we're back at it again. And I think, if I can speak for him, this was probably our favorite weekend that we've had. It just had a little bit of everything. First, we went to the tweet up like usual. We made it just in time. We caught a shuttle bus, which saved our asses, but NASCAR Chasm was there. We just had a nice little conversation. Always fun. The tweet up ended up being right next to where the little Pit Bike Nationals was that Chicagoland was doing this year. And it was actually pretty fun to watch. We saw a few of the heats in the main for that time slot, and they put on quite a show there. And then, once again, Kane was trying to find his Chumpy.
I was trying to look for my buddy Charles, or Chumpy as Nick and I know him. He and I were running Dado's Twitter and Instagram accounts for the weekend, but unfortunately we couldn't find each other because, well, timing and scheduling just really didn't work out for us. But no big deal.
We did have everything else timed pretty nicely. We got into the infield. We actually went over the crossover gate because I realized the night before that we actually could sign the start-finish line. Kane actually had to do a few different signatures, which was pretty hilarious. Then we went onto pit road. First time I've been on pit road in a race. That was awesome. We got to the driver's meeting area again just in time. I got a few more signatures. Jimmy Johnson, William Byron, Alex Bowman, 3 of the 400 guys. Ryan Blaney, Roger Penske. That was cool. I have at least like 19 total on it now, I think.
So anyways, after we meet all the drivers, Nick and I decided to walk back up to the grandstands, have lunch, and then we watched driver introductions. And obviously then we got to do pre-race ceremonies because Chicagoland, they do it right. They got Jim Cornelison to sing the national anthem, which is always awesome. If you've ever been to a Blackhawks game, you'll know what I'm talking about. So we already knew the rain was coming. The sky was looking really dark to our northwest, so we're like, yeah, they're not going to get to the end of stage 1 at this rate. So they get like the first 11 laps in, and then lightning gets detected like 8 miles from the speedway, so they made us evacuate the grandstands. Nick and I were debating, should we go downstairs or should we go up? So I'm like, dude, we should totally go up just so we can watch this thing come in because we're both severe weather nuts. So I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And then this thing comes in, and he and I just get absolutely soaked, as is, well, everybody on that concourse, because the water kept coming in through the grandstands, which is basically the roof. So we're soaked. I had to pull my sweatshirt out because I was also getting really cold. And here we are. I got my hood up and my middle finger out because, you know, fuck you, Mother Nature. And that ended up becoming easily one of the most iconic pictures of all time, not just of the two of us, but of all time.
Yeah, of course.
So
Really love the album, by the way.
oh yeah, it's gonna be hot. So anyways, the rain does eventually clear up. The Air Titans are out on the track. They clean the track. They dry it up. We get the words we've all been wanting to hear: drivers, to your cars! The race finally does get resumed, and again, like Nick said, it was easily one of the better Chicagoland races that we've attended. Not as exciting as last year's finish, but it was definitely an exciting finish, especially seeing Alex Bowman getting his first ever win and being there in person for it.
Bowman, bitch! Oh, he's stuck! He's stuck in the grass!
There he is! How about it, Chicagoland?
Yeah!
It was really awesome to see, and obviously it was such a badass weekend. We didn't want it to end, so it's obviously late at night. Nick and I still have yet to eat dinner, so what do? We frickin' decide to go to Hooters for the first time ever, and even though the fried pickles weren't free, they were delicious. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It was a hell of a weekend, boys. Like I said at the beginning, we really had one of the best weekends as a combo platter. We did it. So we had a lot of fun. It's a weekend to remember. Is that you guys' first time ever that you've seen a first-timer?
Well, unless you count David Rudiman winning in 2010, that was his first legitimate win that he didn't get handed to him. But
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
David
besides
Rudiman
this-
winning is like a national phenomenon. So I mean, I guess that somewhat counts. That's a semi. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I'm glad you guys got to do that. I've had that happen twice in my lifetime. You know, my first ever race, I saw Casey Kane get his first win, and then I was at the 2017 Coke 600 to see Austin Dillon get his first. So that's cool. I'm glad you guys really enjoyed it. Hell of a weekend, guys. That wraps it up. Well, it's been a long time, but it is time for the award segment. And like the theme of the episode, we are looking back on the month of June. So let's take a look at the boner of the month. There was just really one bonerish incident. So, Kane, what was it?
Oh, this came in the Xfinity race at Michigan. Christopher Bell and Cole Custer, two of the big three in Xfinity this year, they were running up near the front, just like always, on the final caution, when they decided to stay out while everybody else came in for 4 tires and fuel. Now, this was mostly on Bell because he had a miscommunication with his crew, and Custer, well, he was just doing whatever the hell Bell was doing, to keep up with him. Ended up costing him the whole race. They had to pit under green. It was literally just them handing the win to Tyler Reddick. Oh my God. You do not expect these two guys to make a mistake that huge. That is a major boner. Congratulations. Not. You guys are better than that. Seriously. So, moving on to our next set of awards.
Yeah, we have some straight jackets of the month. The first one is from the SpeedyCash.com 400, the truck race at Texas. It was just freaking crazy in general. They were wrecking all over the place. There were tons of cautions. They were just sliding all over the place because it was a repave. But man, that one was one of the more eventful ones that we've seen. And not to mention our winner of Greg Biffle, which we'll talk about later. But it was just a wild race in general. Made it really fun to watch. But you're still freaking crazy. Hey, Tyler, who was freaking crazy during the Michigan weekend?
Yeah, our second
Straight Jacket Award!
goes to Joe Graff Jr., one of my least favorite ARCA spanks. Yeah, he buys 2 races for RCR, his first stop at Michigan. What's he go do? Well, he's already being mediocre in practice. Time for qualifying. He's like, only one car's going home. I'm just going to take it easy and make sure. Oh my God, I failed to qualify. You failed to qualify in an RCR car? How the hell does that happen, Joe? What an absolute moron. You must be freaking crazy. People like Kyle Weather and Bailey Curry, freaking Ray Black Jr., Vinnie Miller, for Christ's sake. They're all in the damn race. And you weren't. What an absolute failure. At least you kind of owned up to it on Twitter, but still, it doesn't solidify your case for anything other than the fact that you are still a spank. Thank you. We already knew that. You're freaking crazy. Get your jacket. Oh man, we have one more
Straight Jacket Award!
And Kane, what is that?
Oh, this came in the truck race out in Iowa. Johnny Sauter and Austin Hill. We all know what happened. Hill bumped Sauter out of the way, and Sauter was like, "No, this ain't happening." So he bumps Hill back, and Hill's like, "Oh, no, you don't." So he goes and dumps Sauter, and Sauter backs it into the wall, and then under the caution, Sauter just runs up on Hill and just destroys him in turn 1 and 2. He's just pushing his truck through the turn, and obviously NASCAR ain't happy with that. They park Sauter for the race. Austin Hill was able to continue on and finish in 13th, but my God, if that's not bad enough, later in the week, NASCAR decides to suspend Sauter for 1 race. And it's actually Austin Hill that instigated all this crap. He wrecked Sauter the week before at Texas. Sauter was already pissed at him for that, and then Austin decided to, get it even crazy again. You guys get the point. Austin Hill, you are crazy. Sauter, you're crazy. Sauter decided to take full advantage of his 1-week suspension by running the late model race up in Wisconsin Dells. So at least it was productive. Anyways, that is it for the Straight Jacket nominations. We move on to the cigars. And obviously, we got a month's worth to give out, so we will start with Nick. Who do we got?
Our first cigar goes to Greg Biffle. As I mentioned, he won the truck race at Texas. It was his first time even in a truck since 2004, and it was his first win in the series since 2001. What? He gets his one-off ride with KBM. He was a badass out there. He only led the final 13 laps, but he got it done, and it's like, freaking Greg Biffle won again. When did you think that would happen? I just couldn't be happier for him. He got his little $50,000 bonus for the Triple Truck Challenge, so that's just a really cool moment right there. Then we move on to Ross Chastain. He had the most insane month I could ever imagine for any driver in history, pretty much. First, he announced he was switching his points to the Truck Series because he was doing really well at that. He won at Kansas and thought, hey, I might have a shot at the championship here with Nice Motorsports. And after this month, I think he might be a favorite. He actually won at Iowa, but his truck was disqualified for being too low. So it's like, all right, he wins the race, it's taken away from him. Can he still get it done and win again? Because who knows how long he can keep the streak up. But then he goes to Gateway and wins the damn race and gets his redemption. I mean, this guy is like the most amazing wheelman that we've seen in a while, doing it with the underfunded equipment, has a GMS Alliance, obviously, but still, he's driving the heck out of that thing. He's going to be a favorite. He's smashing them melons, getting those cigar shop locations all over the place. This is going to be one of the biggest stories of NASCAR this season, and I'm just so happy for him and the team. So we move on to Brett Moffitt. He had a great month. He won at Iowa after Ross Chastain was disqualified. Then he came back at Chicagoland to win that one after running a great race. He's getting it done finally with GMS after being last year's champion with Hattori. Good job for all three of those guys. We'll move on with the cigars, and Tyler, take it away for that.
Oh, I sure will. And we actually only have one Xfinity cigar to give out. And oh my God, Michael Annett. He has had a great season, honestly. And now think about this. In our 2 award shows at the end of the year, since we've been doing this damn podcast, 2 straight years, we have given him worst teammate. As of right now, that's not even on the cards for this year. He's actually probably the most consistent JRM driver, and he's even the only one with a win so far. He had 4 top 10s in his 4 races in the month, including 2 third-place finishes at Michigan and Chicago. He is absolutely redeeming himself from the atrocity that he has seen since joining JRM a few seasons back. So hell of a job, Michael. Keep it up. You might see you in Victory Lane sometime soon. And now we'll move on to the Cup Series. This one's going to be real quick. Kyle Busch, he won a race. He had 3 top 5s. Glad you sucked at Chicago. Just take your cigar and run along, please. Thank you. Kane, take it away.
All right, we have 3 more Cup cigars to give out, the first of which goes to Daniel Hemrick, who, after an absolutely atrocious start to his rookie season in Cup, he has rattled off 3 straight top 15 finishes. That's pretty damn impressive, considering he's in a Richard Childress car, and unlike their Xfinity cars, the Cup cars are not that good. Still, 3 top 15s in a row, 4 straight top 20s. Pretty impressive. He leads the rookie standings, so congratulations to Daniel Hemrick. Our next Cup cigar goes to Matt D. Burrito Di Benedetto, who had an absolute career day at Sonoma, driving a throwback Darrell Waltrip paint scheme. It was DW's final race for Fox, so Debbie decides to go out there and frickin' run in 4th, man. 4th. That's his first career. Yeah, his first career top 5 finish. I believe that ties Levine Family Racing's best ever finish, which I believe was set by Michael McDowell, as well as Casey Kane, both at Daytona, I believe. So the fact that Levine Family Racing had a strong run at a non-plate track, pretty damn impressive, Dibby. Congratulations. Get yourself a burrito with that cigar, yeah, whatever.
You fine son of a bitch, you. You fine
son of a bitch. Yeah, that's right. Our final Cup cigar for the month of June, Alex the Bowman Showman. Alex the Showman Bowman finally wins that first ever win. He finished in every finishing position you could imagine, from 2nd to 43rd. He just needed that one last spot, and that was victory lane. He finally got it at Chicagoland after leading, appropriately enough, the final 88 laps. Well, actually, no, he did lose the lead a little bit, but then he got Larson right back. Anyways, a very impressive run. Yeah, Craig Ives actually won a race. Who would have thought? So congratulations to them and to the entire 88 team. You guys absolutely earned it. We were a little bit worried leaving the track because, you got to go through Tech and everything. But thankfully, Alex passed Tech. Congratulations, Alex Bowman.
And congrats to everybody who won an award for the month of June. I can't believe we're not giving out a crying towel. I mean, it was a pretty lackluster month, so, hopefully we'll see you again in July. Alright, it's time to take a look at the best paint schemes of the month. We had a whole host of them, so enjoy the montage. And of course, on the flip side, did you really think we were going to go a whole month without talking about the worst paint schemes? Hell no. Well, we only had 3 of them, which is an absolute shock, but they're there. Kane, you want to get that ball rolling?
Oh, I will, and unfortunately, we're returning with a theme that we saw all too much with this team last year. Stuart Haas Racing and their goddamn split cars. Eric Almirola at Michigan ran a split Smithfield and Meyer Ford Mustang. Now, it's the regular Smithfield paint scheme, but this time the back half of the car is blue, with the Meyer logo slapped on the quarter panel very lazily, may I add. What the hell? I thought we were finally past this shit, but oh, no. We gotta bring it back because, well, we're in Michigan. Meyer's based in Michigan, so we gotta get them on the car somehow. Seriously, this is freaking ridiculous. I mean, it's a cost-saving maneuver because sponsors don't have to pay as much for half the car as compared to the entire car, but it just looks really bad. Just stop it. But, unfortunately, Almirola wasn't the only Stuart Haas car that ran a split at Michigan. Nick, who else did?
Clint Boyer! I'm just getting pissed off the more I look at it. It's half Haas and half Savvy, and there is no attempt to integrate the two. They got the stupid little red bar going around where the body decals are, and then it kind of slopes up with the white outline and goes into the Savvy. And it's just stupid. Come on. Like Kane said, there's just no reason to do this. It doesn't look good in any way. And I liked that Savvy one, like, as an individual scheme. And now they have to ruin it and only put half the car on there. I can't keep looking at it. Just get off the screen. Tyler, what's the last one?
Oh, God, I'm going to wrap it up with David Reagan's DW little tribute at Sonoma. Holy hell. Now, we saw 3 different teams do a tribute paint scheme, the old DW, in his last boogity. Well, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. did it the best. Dibby, you saw that earlier in the cigar. Not a terrific one, but, well. But this one absolutely tops them all. And by tops them, I mean it's out on the goddamn bottom. It's terrible. Now, this car is a little throwback to DW's number 17 Parts America Chrome car. Well, with NASCAR's little rules as far as chrome goes, can't have it no more. Well, this car wasn't chrome, instead it was gray. It's a plain paint scheme. I mean, really, it doesn't feel like a throwback or anything. Not to mention, they have very poor logos slapped on the car. a very cringeworthy boogity 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 and picture a terror on the damn hood. Boogity boogity piss on your ficus for that decision. Oh Lord, and not to mention hashtag thanks DW. Truthfully, I hate hashtags. We use them as a joke. It's a cringe. Come on. I know you're supporting DW and you want to show a little bit of love. Well, to me, this feels like more of a slap in the face than love. Bad choice. If you can't do chrome, don't do it at all. Damn it, front row, we saw one of your cars in the best paint schemes of the month. Now that was a good looking car. I'm done. See you next month, bitch. Alright, you know what time it is. We're going to recap them fantasy results, and my lord, we had quite a month there. So, Pocono, Kane nabs the win. He picked Brad Keselowski. Michigan, Kane wins again. He picked the race winner, Joe Logano. And then Damani doubles up by winning Sonoma, picking Denny Hamlin, and Chicago with another pick of Keselowski. Man, Nick and I really got to step up our game. Winless this month. What the hell, Nick? Thank you, Nick. So it's only fitting that we give a little points update. We need it. Freaking Damani. I don't even think he's watched a race this season. He now leads the points by 9 over Kane. Nick is 59 back, and I am still in a different zip code with 112 points back. Not a prayer to win this regular season fantasy title. So holy hell. But we're coming up on quite a wild card, old Daytona. So it's only necessary that we go back to making some picks. Boys, I missed the fantasy sounds on our show. Time to rattle it off. So, Kane, you were actually dead last after Chicago. Who are you taking for Daytona?
I want to pick a Ford team because it's a plate race, and you know how great the Fords are at the plate tracks. But the last 2 Daytona races have been won by Joe Gibbs Racing. So, once again, I feel like it's only necessary to take old Dennis Hamlin,
A dirty veteran.
to double down in 2019 at the World Center of Racing. So, Tyler, who is your pick?
Well, you know, like I said, I'm in the cellar, so I'm going to take the guy who hit everything last year at Daytona. It's a wild card. Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Did you see that? Did you see what he just did?
He's gonna crash. Yeah, I know I'm screwed. Who cares? Nick?
I'm going to go with Chase Elliott.
Oh, yeah! Woo!
Yeah, it didn't work for Tyler at Chicago, but he's a good plate racer. He's shown that. He hasn't had a lot of luck there, but I think he's always been running up front, and he's just due for one. And how America would it be if Chase Elliott won on 4th of July weekend? I mean, come on. Get it done, Chase. We're counting on you. Damani, who is your pick?
Motherfucker!
Damani.
Well, that does it for a jumbo episode of Behind the Wall presented by Perky Jerky. Boys, it was fun. We covered everything for the damn month. The highlights, the lowlights. We brought the juice. I'm not talking about just the orange juice. Thank you for that, by the way. I really love the fact that you got no pulp. I'm appreciative of that. But we really did bring it out here, too. So, for Kane Jr. 88, I don't know why I'm talking about him first, but, you know, he's a little rusty.
Yeah.
Perfect,
Sneeze.
thank you. I'm keeping that right there. For Damani HG, he is so far gone. We hear nothing about him, and like I said, he don't even watch NASCAR no more. He's just busy out there strumming his guitar, and I think he's in like a Led Zeppelin cover band called Zeppelin Led, something like that. And for Thermite 917, I don't know what the hell he did this month besides do a couple of things. Probably did a lot of finger paintings in his house, I'm assuming, with 90-degree weather. I don't know. Who gives a damn? And for myself, Pro Bowl 43, I had a hell of a month too. So, whoo, boys, good to be back. Who knows when we'll see you, but we will eventually. So this has been Behind the Wall. You've been Behind the Wall. Thank you for listening.
And it was pretty much just an absolute, what's the word I'm looking for to describe a dominant race?
Dominant.
I don't know. I really can't. Yeah, vomit, pretty much. But
Dominant.
it was
Not vomit.
dominant.
It was vominant.
Yeah. But other than that, a really uneventful Xfinity race. We had a few spins. Justin Allgaier had an
Don't do
absolute
a race
homecoming.
recap.
No.
Because like with dirt racing, they literally take an entire race weekend and put it all into one night. So you got your hot laps, which basically it's just 2 laps with all the cars on the track for the upcoming heat race. Then they do time trials, which is 2 cars at a time, and then they got to do the heat races, and obviously that will set the starting lineup as well as who will get into the A main, as well as the B main, which is obviously like the last chance qualifier.
Kane.
What?
We know. So now, the only combo we're missing as far as going to races together would be me and Nick, but Nick sure as hell isn't gonna come down here and enjoy some time with me, you bitch.
Damn it. Anyway, yeah. It's racing, god damn it. It's not like Austin intended to wreck you, Johnny. Or, well, actually, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Austin,
he fucking did.
Yeah.
Can I do video this week instead?
No.
No frickin' question. Alex the Bowman Showman! Oh, wow, that came out wrong. Alex the Showman Bowman! Ugh.
His face on the car just really bugs me.
His face shouldn't be on a car. Honestly, it looks more like an ad on a milk carton for a missing child.
Yeah, a missing boogity. Have you seen my boogity?
Have you seen my boogity? Well, that's what you get for, trying to rely on Target brand sunscreen to cover all your areas.
I just use the spray, like the aerosol can. It's easier to put on, and it's not like a huge mess either. So
exactly, but Nick likes to make a mess, so that doesn't surprise me.
he spills marinara all over the place. So
exactly, it is totally like in form with Nick. You know what? I never really thought about this, but the Nick Race Day starter pack. This is how I envision it. If I were to never hang out with Nick and know very little about him, I would think that he would wear a visor, a fanny pack, a banana boat, sunscreen, and just a lot of water. That's his starter pack for a race day.
A map of the track.
Yes, and a map of the
I had one.
Oh, man.
Oh, no. That was the only thing I forgot. But yes, that would definitely be included in his starter pack.
Yep.